Métis, Uzbek, Kazakh. Are you a prisoner?
Yes.
The Russian army, it's so wonderful in short. An army of criminals and some kind of rubble. Tell us how you became a prisoner.
September 21, 2021. Oh,
Stop.
2023 I was mobilized.
Stop. It's now 2023.
September 21, 2023.
Have you been mobilized this year?
No, in the past.
That year it was 2022.
So I was mobilized in 2022. I'm just worried.
For what?
This is my first time giving an interview.
Why?
Didn't give interviews to anyone else. Wait, September 21, 2022, yes, exactly.
You're right, because it was the exact time when Putin announced partial mobilization.
Yes, I was just under mobilization.
Did they give you the call-up paper?
Yes.
Tell us how you got the call-up paper. This is a rare among you. I have phones for every project. One personal one. Now, just a second. There they simply asked in the comments why I need 3 phones. One is my personal, one for the prisoners, and one for the new project. And Samson is not here, by the way. However, is trying to figure me out by location, you won't succeed. Deal with it. Yes, I interrupted you, sorry.
On September 21, 2022, I received the call-up paper at my place of registration. I arrived at the checkpoint by myself on my
Where
own.
were you registered? Yeah, the call-up paper arrived. What was written on
That
it?
I need to report to the military registration and enlistment office.
To clarify the data.
I don't remember if it was written that way verbatim.
When?
On the 21st, I was already at the military registration and enlistment office. I was sent away that same day. There were no honors, no parties, nothing. I went to the city of Vladimir, where we all gathered mobilized. Without a medical examination, I was quickly sent to Volodymyr, Belgrade region, and from there.
When were you already in Volodymyr?
I was already there on the 22nd, and on the 21st I was mobilized. Not a contract, but mobilization documents were signed, and on the 22nd I was already near Bryansk.
Let's clarify, a contract or what? Are you a contractor?
No.
Is it possible to use you?
Yes, sure.
Uh-huh.
On September 21, we already boarded the plane. On the 22nd, we were already in Bryansk, traveling at night. We arrived there early in the morning at 5 a.m. or 6 to Volodymyr to Salati.
Let's look over there.
In Volodymyr in Salati. On the 22nd, we were already in the Urals. We were counted by last name.
Wait, mobilized on the 21st, on the 22nd?
Already in Volodymyr.
In Volodymyr.
Early in the morning.
So, next. On the 23rd in Bryansk?
No, on the 22nd we went abroad to the territory of the LPR and DPR.
Uh-huh.
We were brought to Torskaya, Ternikovskaya between Krasny Liman and Yambol. Or no. We were in Salati for 3 or 4 days. We were trained in shooting and assault. On the 23rd or 24th, well, in general, I don't want to lie, I don't remember exactly. On these dates, we were already in Ternikovskaya between Yampol and Krasny Liman. We sent there, they told us that this was the third line of defense, it was calm there. But on September 30, we were half surrounded.
Surrounded?
Yes, we had to retreat.
Were there dead or wounded?
There were a lot of dead people, they just left us.
Let's go into more detail. When were you brought? Where did you stay? What position did you take, and what happened?
In Terny, we were on the edge of the village of Ternitorska. We were on the edge. We were told to keep watch, just keep watch. They say that it was quiet there because the fighting was going on in Krasny Liman itself and somewhere near Yampol.
Uh-huh.
We were told so. We didn't have a walkie-talkie. We stood in the middle on the right. Ours stood in the landing zone. We saw them the first few days. And on the September 30, we thought our people were covering us, that is, we were calm. But then, when we saw that Ukrainian armed forces equipment was leaving from all sides, we understood and independently made the decision that we needed to retreat, since it turned out that there was no one
Where
on
did
the
they
right
go?
side of the landing. They left us and left.
They don't abandon their own people, do they?
Just like that. They left us, we had to retreat. We retreat for a day to Kreminaya on foot because there was no equipment.
How many of you were in positions?
There were about 100 of us, our company of the 254th Regiment.
How many survived?
13 of us survived. 2 were wounded and 11 were normal.
Of the 100 people
Of the 100 people who were there, 13 of
What
us
about the
survived.
rest?
I don't know the rest who left, who died.
How many dead?
There are many dead. Out of the dead, as we were told, I did not see it with my own eyes. They made a signpost out of them.
Have you posted an
Yes,
arrow pointer?
the arrow in which direction we should
Who
go
did
home.
this?
They say that the enemies are the Ukrainian armed forces.
Enemies?
Well, the enemy force, it wasn't the Russian who did it. The armed forces of Ukraine allegedly formed an arrow from the dead.
Put up a sign
Yes, from the dead.
so that you know where to retreat.
Yes, when they looked through a drone in which direction we should go home.
I've never heard this before.
And they told us, I did not see it myself.
I never heard this before.
Well,
I just want to clarify something for myself. Sorry, maybe I'm stupid. Here you fought, roughly speaking.
uh-huh,
You can't touch this, you'll get burned.
uh-huh. This is our position where
Yes.
we fought.
Yes,
Can I?
sure.
Here at the road, another position here. Another position where,
I understood that you were in the center, they stopped covering you, you began to retreat.
yes,
The
we
Ukrainian
started to
armed
retreat.
forces were here,
Right here. Yours were
ours
everywhere.
yes.
From all sides.
Banderas men were sitting, of course. NATO soldiers. Have you seen
No.
NATO soldiers? And Banderas?
Didn't see it here.
I am a Banderati.
No, so.
We need to cross ourselves.
Right, we retreated.
And you were leaving, and then somewhere along the road there
Allegedly
was
here
supposedly...
from the bodies afterwards. Afterwards from the bodies, here they laid out an arrow pointer from the corpses.
Guys, next time we need to point to Moscow.
Right, we retreated and somehow reached Kreminaya, not knowing the way. We had a map. Nothing is clear and our man is seriously
The
wounded.
map, was it on the phone?
No, it's a paper map, old-style map.
It's already 2022.
Well, yes, and the map is
Didn't
paper.
have a phone?
And the phones, well, I didn't have a map on my phone. We all didn't have a GPS or map.
Have you used a paper map?
Yes,
Second Army of the World. What year of that map?
don't know.
Oh, then...
It was paper, I
I
remember.
understand.
We look at the map and somehow go to
Topography,
Kreminaya.
you know?
No,
Which is correct? Corridor or corridor?
corridor.
Uh-huh. Just me. Whatever understands, write in the comments. Yes.
Right, we retreated and reached
Yes.
Kreminaya. Ours are standing there. The boys and I asked them, why did you leave us? The commander told us that he supposedly sent people after us so that we would retreat. But no one came to us like that because the one who was supposedly sent after us with the militias, well, the DPR, LPR militias, they retreated together in Kamaz. We were all abandoned. We found out about it when we got there. And before that, some kind of projectile flew straight at me and the other guy. I fainted. They lifted me up after that. My school was closed and there were small fragments on my head. After we retreated, they loaded us into a truck in Kreminaya and first took us to a hospital. The hospital said that we needed to be taken to Lugansk. We were evacuated to Lugansk. We stayed in Lugansk for 3 days. How is that called? Chernobyl Health Resort. We stayed there for 3 days because there was no room in the hospital, after which we were evacuated.
How long did you end up fighting in Ukraine?
As the result from the 25th or 26th days, 5, 6.
Was it that you were defeated in 5 days?
In less than 1 day we were defeated. The first 4 or 5 days were calm.
Yes, understood.
We were defeated in less than 1 day.
Understood.
Right. I was later evacuated to Rostov with the boys. After Rostov, I was taken to Saratov and then to Samara. There I was in the hospital, after which I was given a discharge from the hospital and sent to a military unit. After arriving at the military unit, I was given the vacation for 2 weeks after injury. After my vacation, I arrived at the military unit, but I see that I will not be deployed anyway. I received the money and decided that I would go home. I wrote the report and left.
When was this?
This was in the months of
In
December.
October.
No, it was in the months of December.
How long were you on vacation? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Wait, how long were you treated in hospitals?
I was treated in hospitals for 2 months.
Were you seriously injured?
I have a closed head injury and a cut in the forehead.
It's clear. As you remember, he tells why he became a prisoner.
Yes. After my vacation, I decided not to return to the unit.
You wrote the report, it was signed, and you left.
No, they didn't sign it. I just gave it to the office and left.
Yeah? Yes? When was this?
This was in the months of December, and on January 11th, I was already put on the wanted list. On January 11th, I was already put on the wanted list, but I didn't know about it yet. I was caught on February 6th.
After the whole month?
In a month.
Where did they find
At
you?
home. In the Vladimir region.
Who came?
Military police.
So what, they came and said hello?
No, not like that. They told me to get ready, that I was being investigated. I arrived, they immediately began to interrogate me, and after that I was placed on the 3rd floor of the military police department. Well, they were located in a regular military unit, and it was just a closed floor.
Were there a lot of people like you?
A lot of. More than 100 people. These are only those who were with
Is
me.
this some kind of barracks?
Yes, this barracks on the 3rd floor. They kept me there for 5 months. For the last months, I was in a punishment cell, in a locked room.
So, can I?
Yes.
Thank you. So, you lived on the 3rd floor of the military police for 5 months.
The city is called
City
Kovrov.
of Kovrov. You lived there for 5 months.
Yes, 5 months.
What were you doing there?
We went to the dining room under guard and back and didn't do anything else. We read the charter.
Did your salary suit you?
Yes, the minimal one.
How many?
I don't know, but after 5 months I received a total of 100,000 on the card.
Like 20,000 a month.
Yes, right.
They didn't let you go away,
They
right?
didn't let me go anyway. Only to the commandant's office under escort drove in paddy wagons and then taken back.
Avtozak is a special vehicle for prisoners.
Yes, prison transport.
So you say there were 100 people. What were they doing? What are they?
The same as me, mobilized, contract soldiers, volunteers, everyone was there together.
Were there officers?
There are 2 officers. Oh, there was even a major because he had an article refusal to carry out orders. He refused to carry out the order because his health did not allow him to go to the front. Well, for this...
What did he have?
I don't know, some kind of illness. He was shaking all over. A grown man, already aged.
Was he faking it or was
I
he
didn't know
really
he
sick?
was really sick. There were many with illness, but they were given a fitness category A.
Also, in fact, many of them are not A.
And he is not alone. There were those whose tendons were broken. They were given an A and sent to the front. There were some.
How did it happen that tendons were broken?
Shrapnel injuries.
It's clear. Did you sit there normally for 4 months?
I sat there abnormally for the entire 5 months.
Why is it abnormal?
Once they beat me with sticks.
Who?
The military police, because I smoked in the toilet without a card. At first there were red cards with a smoke break written on them. There were only 3 of them per 100 people. 3 cards. Right, I smoked without waiting in line and they saw me.
That is only 3 people could smoke at the same time.
Yes, by cards. They smelled the cigarettes and they themselves smoked whatever they wanted. Phones were prohibited.
Without a phone for 5 months?
All thought they had phones. We didn't.
From others or from the police?
Yeah, the military police had phones.
Well, I see.
Also, those who were not prisoners had phones. People like us had them.
Were you not prisoners?
And we were simply under the supervision of the regiment commander and the military police. This is an observation.
Were you beaten badly?
Every time they beat me with a very thin stick, it really hurts.
Let's move on.
After that, I was somehow able to find the phone and wrote to the military prosecutor's office. The prosecutor's office came, of course, and gave these military police officers a very hard time. Those who are local.
You probably got it too, then.
They started to hate me very much. From that day on, I started to have even more problems.
Tell me which ones. What was happening?
Everything became much worse. They also began to humiliate me morally.
How?
Name-calling, they say that I was a traitor, a betrayer, a deserter. Also, I don't consider myself a traitor. I didn't refuse to serve in the army, but I didn't want to go to war. Because I saw how soldiers were treated, I remembered how last time we were simply left to die. They retreated and left us behind. Without communications, without equipment, without anything. This is how the first months in prison based. By the second month I was already used to it. Resigned myself, behaved quietly, and then we were allowed telephones. They were given to us once a day for just an hour. After that, the guys and I thought, why do they treat us like that? They use their phones themselves, but we can't. We decided to get together and call the commanders their commanders. Called the regiment commander and the head of the commandant's office. The first day there was no one there. The second day we were ignored. The third day was ignored. We decided to all get together and not give up our phones because there were still more of us than them. Their commanders arrived and after that they put me in a punishment cell to await trial.
What is a punishment cell?
The punishment cell is a special room, a formal room for sorting weapons. Yeah, the armory. They made beds in it, also that first we slept on the floor.
How many of you were there?
Well, everyone who did not obey, everyone who violated the rules, they were sent to a punishment cell. The conditions there exactly in that punishment cell were worse than just in the barracks. Well, that's it. Smoking, of course, is prohibited there. It was impossible to bring food in because for them we were violators. Like this. After that, the months was not easy, of course, but the guys helped and brought water. Water was available. Yes. After this, the court sentenced me the punishment 2 years in prison. Also, the prosecutor asked for 3 years. They gave me a sentence of 2 years in prison. I arrived at the prison, that's all, already convicted.
When was this?
It was June 25, 2023. Yes, in June. Right. I arrived at the prison and the next day I found out that the military commissars have arrived. Anyone who wants to be pardoned can turn to them. Me and some people went to them. Most of them are no longer alive, unfortunately.
Why unfortunately?
Well, they perished.
So what's wrong with that?
I knew them.
And what?
Right.
Wait, let's understand this moment. What's wrong with them perished? They didn't perish. Perished is too good a word. These occupiers were destroyed.
Everyone just wants to live, probably.
No. You don't want to live.
Because I'm here? Yes, you're right.
Are you generally normal and sane? You were mobilized, thrown into battle like meat. You by yourself are telling all this now.
Yeah.
I didn't know your story. Then your beloved country kept you in prison for 5 months. A month in the punishment cell in the former armory. You slept on the floor, on rugs. You ate poorly, didn't eat enough, didn't smoke, and then you were given a prison sentence. This is a stain for life, as anyone who has been in prison will confirm. You by yourself volunteered to die. The second time, having already had experience, you know that you would be a war meat, that you would be treated like garbage in general. You went to war a second time, and now you say that it's bad that your comrades were killed?
Can I interrupt?
You can, of course.
There was such a situation. I saw that I would be able to avoid war. I saw that I would be somewhere in the rear.
And when you were at the military registration office, what did they tell you there?
They said that I would accompany humanitarian aid.
Great. So when you were deceived once, it wasn't enough for you. That is, for some reason, you thought...
I regret this by myself.
This is understandable.
Constantly.
I understand that you are sorry. That is, when your country has deceived you once... I use normal vocabulary because... critics constantly scold me for allowing myself to use obscene language. Do you know this word?
No.
No, such a story. Therefore, I am now standing for the pure Russian language.
Obscene language is like swearing, right?
Like this, yes.
Right.
Yes. Well, I want to convey my thoughts to you. That is, once you were deceived through the death, then you were bullied for 5 months, a citizen of the powerful world's second superpower. You condemned, they gave you a stain for life, and then some military commissar arrived who essentially mocked you. You say that everyone who wants to be free wants to be pardoned. Let's go. You will be in the 5th line of defense in the rear.
In the third one line.
On the third one?
Yes. Right. I thought I could be a cook or at least provide provisions, deliver food, but it didn't work out.
Why were you thinking about this? Are you somehow connected with food?
I am a baker-cook.
What did you do in civilian life?
Builder. And sold things before the coronavirus, sold massage equipment.
What is your profession?
Only incomplete education.
Incomplete education. And what does the baker have to do with it?
This is during military service.
Have you ever been a baker in the kitchen?
Yes, I was in the kitchen, but I was not a baker.
This is Russia. What, isn't this funny to you? The person has incomplete school education and was a sales manager for massage equipment.
Yes, massage of the back.
Are you competent
Yes,
with that?
they taught us.
It's clear. At first they say that he would be a cook-baker, and then in life he was a builder. Then he was a
Whatever,
prisoner.
I was not. 1 month.
Here are the chat line, please. I read chat lines, that is, when I'm not driving and when I'm not at home. I read what they write in the chat and enjoy it. Thanks everyone. Faina, Critic, you... This is it. But it should be the other way around, right? So... that everyone can have it. Yes. Come on, let's move on.
Right. I waited a month for them to come for us. I was already thinking about refusing and staying in prison.
Why did you think to
And then-
refusing?
Well, maybe everything is fine now. I got used to the situation. Not too
You're
bad.
sitting there just a prisoner,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it's warm. There's food, and it doesn't seem to last
Land
long.
of
Only 2 years.
opportunities. You'll be in prison for only 2 years. The conditions are
Right.
good. Your sister is writing something there.
Thank God.
No. Thanks to American WhatsApp on American iPhones.
That's it. I was already thinking about refusing because the next day it was August 1, and on August 2 my mother was supposed to visit me. Yes, we already called there via, because you also get a SIM card, right? A card is given and there are only 15 rubles on it. You must have time to give your family a phone number on which to deposit money. In the prison settlement, I did not manage to do that in time. I only managed to call in 3 there.
To complete the quest.
Yes, complete the quest. I contacted my family. They said they would arrive tomorrow. And then we were called after lights out. At 10 o'clock we called. There were 6 of us. They told us to pack our things. They placed us in the first aid post, and at 3 o'clock in the morning a truck arrived to pick us up. One of them was filled with prisoners. That is, the boys suffered, roughly speaking, even while they were driving.
They didn't suffer.
It was very crowded, like
They wanted
rats
it,
in
they
a
got
jar.
it.
Then they put us in cars and drove us to Ivanova to the airfield. It was hot outside. It was already morning as
What is correct to say? To the airport or on the
to
airport?
the airfield.
Russian language is rich.
Or to the airport. I'm a loser.
Loser.
Well, upon arrival there, we were fed. They said there would be a plane soon and we had to wait. But in the end, no. Time passed. Everyone wanted to go to the toilet. We already started arguing. It's hot. We're in iron cars. It was hot. We started screaming and yelling. In the end, we were released. One car at a time let people out to use the restroom. But they didn't take me anywhere. I went out, went to the toilet, and they immediately brought me back. And then a miracle happened. We were all put on the plane. In 2 floors, the first floor and the second
Is
floor.
it correct to say in the plane or on the plane?
On the plane.
Right to the airport or on the airport?
Aerodrome.
Aerodrome.
When we arrived, we flew to Rostov. The bustle began
Have
in
you
Rostov.
ever flown before this?
Yes, I worked as the manager of massage equipment. I flew all over Russia.
You said it like Russians who saw a toilet in Ukraine for the first time in their lives.
We were brought to Rostov. The bustle began in Rostov. We lined up in crowds of 30-40 people and they began to process us. It was somehow unclear. They assigned me some with some personal number that I don't even remember.
How did it start?
AB or AB, something like that. They gave me a card and filled out 2 documents. I signed. I didn't even see what second document I signed. I only saw it when I signed the first one. The salary there indicated from 40,000 to 100,000. At this point, I already realized that something strange was happening.
So what did you do?
There was nothing I could do. There already...
Then you realized that something was wrong, but you didn't do anything about it.
And nothing is possible
Have
anymore.
you read the contract?
The first one, yes, I read it.
You're lying.
I read it very fluently.
You haven't read it.
I read it fluently. What?
What was written in the second paragraph?
40,000 and...
No, it was the third paragraph.
Don't know.
Because you didn't read it.
I saw the salary and that's it. I signed it.
How many months did you sign the
For
contract
6 months. Until the 2nd of February.
The problem.
The problem?
You need to read the contract.
Yes.
What was written there in the next paragraph? After expiration date.
Does it spill automatically?
Yes, but you didn't read it.
Only there was no such thing.
It was.
This seems to have been cancelled.
No. You didn't read it, but it did.
I think it all ended with the contract being extended automatically. If you don't come every day, then it may be extended.